Hello, Taurus. It's Jen with Bohemian Path Tarot, and it's time for another tarot reading. This time we're using the Awaken Tarot, and I'm going to go ahead and give her a really good shuffle for you, and I'll meet you on the other side of the shuffle for your reading. Okay, Taurus, let's see what we've got. The Lovers, the Tower, Death. Wow, that's three major arcana right in a row. And the Prince of Cups. Okay, so we're starting here with the Prince of Cups or the Knight of Cups. And typically nights are an area where you can take action or want to take action or need to take action. Moving forward in the area of emotions or making emotional connections, relationship connections. So for some of you, this may be needing to make connections, romantically, relationships, wanting to reach out to a crush, needing to find out what's going on with a relationship, uh, wanting to move out of a situationship to a relationship, wanting to go to the next level in a relationship or get the spark back in a long-term relationship, something like that. For some folks, this isn't necessarily about, romantic relationships or partnerships. This could be about a spiritual relationship, or this could even be about emotional healing, because cups are, about emotions. For a few of you, this could be, in the area of emotional healing, like therapy, finding a therapist, joining a group for talk therapy, maybe about PTSD, or even a 12-step group, something like that. But the knight is the active force. It's about going out and seeking. It's about taking action. So any action you take now is well supported, and the inherent advice in this card is to seek, and ye shall find. Okay, so oopsies. Then the next card we have here is the Lovers. So certainly anyone who is seeking a romantic relationship, this would, support that as well. If this for you is about being on the dating apps or, confessing an interest to a crush, this is supporting, making a connection, kind of negotiating next steps, what that means. And certainly for some people who are ready to commit to a partner, this is really good for, dare I, not for everybody, but for some of you, this it could be a marriage contract, because the Lovers really is about the contracts we make with other people. It's not just about the sexy times, but it's the commitments that we make, and making choices about what we bring to a commitment to somebody else, or what we bring to the contract in a partnership or an agreement we make in our intimate connections, or our contracts with other people or person or entity. So this is also a little bit about choice, right? So we have to choose what we're willing to bring to a relationship, and what we're willing to agree to, what we're willing to accept, what we're not willing to accept. Sometimes it's about choices between people. Like sometimes we know, sometimes, if you're really magnetically attracted to, the bad boy archetype, but he doesn't bring a lot in terms of stability or, financial background, or even time spent together. This card can speak to what are you committing to when you make a contract, an interpersonal contract. So the fact that this card shows up here, that is going to be a sort of consideration or an event, in the next cycle, that you are going to be considering the contracts you make with other people, or a particular contract you make with another person, persons, or entities. So it's either, romantic, or perhaps with a spiritual group, or with even therapy. Now, the following card is the Tower, which obviously is not a pleasant looking card. The Tower can be a bit of a shock. It can indicate a sort of a loss. It typically comes up when we need to break away from something that no longer suits us, or something that was built on a faulty foundation. So it can be, especially if it's following this Lover's card, when you discovered that just for one example, this might not be true for all of you, but when you discover a partnership or a romantic connection was not what you thought it was, that you had committed to something that the other partner had not committed to, like maybe you thought you were, this is just as an example, this doesn't necessarily, this isn't necessarily true for you, but just as an example, it could be the sort of thing where one party believes they are in a monogamous relationship and another party is not that serious, or vice versa, and the discovery of that could lead to a Tower moment, because if you don't discuss things in advance or confirm, expectations in the Lover's phase, which is what the Lover's card kind of is, making sure you understand the terms and conditions of an interpersonal contract, then you can have a Tower moment because something was built on a sort of faulty foundation. Now, the thing about Tower moments, I find more often in my life, it's when something I know that is faulty, or something that I know that is on a shaky ground, just kind of comes crashing down, when I know that I have had time to fix it, when I know that I have had the opportunity to make sure that, to prepare myself in advance, and I just haven't gotten around to it, or I didn't want to look at it, or I didn't want to deal with it. So the fact that that a Tower moment could be coming, this is, a kind of a heads up. Whatever you and you probably know what this is. There's something in your life that you probably don't want to really deal with, that is not secure or stable. It could be something as simple as, your car tires need to be replaced. It could be, an ongoing relationship thing that with someone that you're just not really interested in, that you should let them down easy, but you haven't gotten around to it yet. Or it could be the kind of thing where you've got a roommate who is not paying their share of the rent, and you really need them to step it up or move on. It's one of those kinds of things. Something needs to be dealt with before it becomes truly unpleasant. And this is your kind of check engine light, if you will, before things get pleasant. And the thing is, once you deal with it, or once the walls kind of come tumbling down, there's a sort of a freedom afterwards. Once, the walls are going to come down, whether you take a ball peen hammer to them and do it yourself, or whether this lightning and thunderstorm, does the damage, whether the Deus ex machina takes care of it. You know what I mean? So something does have to come down. And sometimes I also think of this card too. For some of you, this might be an apt metaphor. You know, sometimes we go around with armor that we've built up, especially armor with regard to relationships if we've been hurt in the past. And it can protect us from being hurt, but it also isn't very, it doesn't allow us to move quickly. It doesn't allow us to be flexible. It doesn't allow us to do yoga or chase after a ball or, go for a hike. It becomes an impediment, you know, uh, armor. So sometimes you have to take the armor off in order to like really appreciate life and, you know, jump in puddles and do yoga or hula hoop or, hug a crush. So it could be that another way to look at the tower coming down is really that it's time to take, the armor off because you don't need it anymore in order to really experience what you're going after in this Knight of Cups phase, seeking connections, seeking a deeper connection. You've got to take off this armor and be more raw. So whatever it is that's coming down is going to help you with this piece. So let's move on to the last card because, this is one of those tropes of tarot card readers. Like you always hear, the death card isn't a terrible card. And hopefully if you're a fan of the tarot, you know that the death card is not a terrible card. I love getting the death card because, it means transformation. And usually when people come to get a tarot reading, it's because they want change. It's not because things are going swell. It's because things have gone awry or because they want to change and they want validation that they're moving in the right direction or that the thing that they want to go after is right for them or is coming for them, right? So this is transformation. At the end of this seeking piece and at the end of this renegotiation or making a connection, at the end of this, kind of collapse piece or breaking down or taking off the armor is this transformation. And I was explaining to a colleague, I did tarot readings at a fundraiser this weekend for my day job, and one of my colleagues was really afraid to get the death card, and I explained to him, it's actually great because it means the person you were before is no longer. And you get to be someone new. You get to be a better version, just like the caterpillar becomes the butterfly and, gets wings. There's that part between caterpillar and butterfly where the caterpillar spins the cocoon and they're kind of like in this gooey phase and they're protected in little their little cocoon, but then they have to bust out of the cocoon, right? And when they bust out, they have wings. When they bust out of the cocoon and they have wings, they aren't going to be able to live on the ground anymore. Now they live in the air, right? Now they get to fly. So the death card is that moment between that moment when you bust out of the cocoon and you realize, oh, I have a new life now. Now I live in the air. So whatever you're seeking in this phase, you are moving towards it. And maybe there's that gooey moment where you have to take off the armor or you have to go from caterpillar to goo to butterfly. But Taurus, this is an extremely exciting reading. You've got 3 major arcana here. This is a huge shift for you. I hope you find this reading inspiring and validating and supporting. If you would like to share in the comments below what this shift is for you or how these cards might resonate for you. I would love to hear about it. I hope you feel the love. I'm totally rooting for you. In any case, take good care of yourself, Taurus. Thank you so much for stopping by. Until next time, bye for now.